got missing University of South Florida students, two of them. I believe both bodies have been found. One has been confirmed. The other is still waiting for identification, but the one of the roommates has been arrested as a suspected killer.
The chief deputy from a local sheriff's office says a suspect is in custody and human remains have been found after two doctoral students disappeared more than a week ago. Now, the two 27-year-old students were studying at the University of South Florida. The remains of Zamil Limon were discovered this morning. The chief deputy says Limon and the suspect were, in fact, roommates. That suspect is now facing charges including battery and false imprisonment, and a female student remains missing. I want to bring in NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch tracking this for us. Jesse, what else are we learning from officials about this discovery and how they took the suspect into custody?
Yeah, so Morgan, just for background for people who have not been following along, this is, we can't even call it a conclusion because, as you mentioned, the female student, Nahida Bristi, is still missing, according to authorities, but at least one chapter coming to an end here more than a week after they both were last seen, according to what authorities have been telling us for several days now. So today, what we're told by that sheriff's office in Hillsborough County, that's the Tampa, Florida area, the sheriff's office says that they got a call about a domestic incident and they arrived there. They get the family out. Eventually, a SWAT team arrives and is able to get the suspect to peacefully surrender eventually. That suspect now facing multiple charges. You mentioned some of them. I also want to note a couple of the other ones: tampering with physical evidence, failure to report death to law enforcement or medical, unlawfully hold or move a dead human body in unapproved conditions. And this suspect, we are told by authorities, is the roommate for the man you see on the right hand of the screen. That is Jamil Limon, 27-year-old doctoral student from Bangladesh studying at the University of South Florida. His friend, who police had believed may have been with him, was Nahida Bristi, also 27, also from Bangladesh, also a doctoral student at USF. So at this point, Limon's body has been found. His friend is still nowhere to be found, and police say they are still searching for her, Morgan.
This investigation is still very much ongoing here, Jesse. You've been speaking with family members of the missing students earlier this week, before today's update. What they share with you?
Yeah, so one thing that was made clear by family, we spoke with a brother for each of these two students, and they told us that for them to just disappear would have been out of character. Of course, we now have an explanation for where one of these students, unfortunately, has wound up, and that is that he was found dead, and authorities say that he was found dead about a 40 to 45-minute drive from his apartment where he was last seen. So the fact that they just vanished without talking to anybody, that's not something that would have been typical. And the other thing that's outstanding and still raising some questions for us is where Nahida Bristi would be right now. Her brother telling us that her bag, her laptop, her lunchbox were all left at the lab facility where she was working on Thursday. So effectively in the middle of the day, just left without packing up her things. And so the question is, did she intentionally go somewhere or was she taken somewhere? And at this point, Morgan, we still do not have those answers. And it sounds like police don't either because they say she is still missing.
Now, that's all. That's the initial information. Uh, what are your thoughts on this first part? My initial thinking is the suspect most likely attacked the young woman. The roommate found out and he had to attack him as well. But we'll get over into more information about it. Let's go over into the next video.
Now at 10:35, the roommate of a missing University of South Florida student has been arrested in Hillsborough County. 26-year-old Hisham Salah Abu Garbe, wearing nothing but a blue towel, was taken into custody at his family's home on Friday. His roommate Zamil Limon was reported missing a week ago, as well as his girlfriend, 27-year-old Nahida Bristi. A SWAT team was called out after the suspect barricaded himself inside of his family's home. CBS correspondent Miguel Octavio is in Tampa with how the arrest went down.
Draped in just a towel, Hisham Abu Garbi surrendered with his hands up after sheriff's deputies say he ignored commands to come out.
Scary to see so much going on.
Kyle Lutz lives nearby and says the incident quickly shook him.
We have a family, little ones. It's very scary to see a bunch of police, SWAT, all the stuff, being in our little nice neighborhood.
Sheriff's deputies say Abu Gharbi barricaded himself inside a Lake Forest home, refusing to surrender. They add they spoke with him the day before, but he cut the interview short.
Through investigative measures, we are able to link the suspect to this case and to this body.
The heavy police presence and news involving 2 USF community members has students on edge.
Yeah, it was so sad. Like, I wouldn't expect that.
Tonight, the Bangladesh Student Association at USF wrote, quote, "We mourn the loss of Zamil Ahmed Lehman, and we continue to pray for Nahida Sultana Brishti, whose whereabouts remain unknown." For now, neighbors say they're thankful for the law enforcement response.
Everything was handled so good that I was very impressed, and that made me feel a little bit more comfort as well.
Officials announced this morning that Hisham is facing 2 charges of murder. However, Nahida Bristi, a 27-year-old chemical engineering student, is still considered missing. Stick with CBS News Miami.
Let's get over into one more video where we actually get to see an image of him in court.
I'm going to call up the first case, Hisham Abu Gharbi.
Camera.
All right. And do I have Hisham Abu Gharbi here?
And it will be held without bond.
Held without bond until the pretrial detention motion has been heard before Judge Murphy. Thank you.
Okay, simple as that. Held without bond, which is what we would expect. Now let's get over into the AI breakdown just to find out a little bit more information about this whole case and just see what else we can learn. So as we know, 2 University of South Florida students, doctorate students, the investigation for 2 missing University of South Florida students have escalated to a double murder case. So the body of Zamir was found in an advanced stage of decomposition on Friday, April 24th. And then we have an additional human remain was discovered yesterday from the waterways of Interstate 275 and 4th Street North. While officials' identification has been pending, the investigators believe that the remains are the woman's, Nahia. So the suspect in custody, as we know, the 26-year-old who was the man's roommate and former USF student, was arrested on April 24th after a SWAT standoff. He's currently facing 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. Both students, international doctorate candidates from Bangladesh, were last seen on April 16th. Evidence including the ID and credit card was found in the bedroom, leading investigators to believe both were killed at that location. So we know the profiles, so both 27. One was a doctorate student in geography and environmental sciences. The other was a doctorate student in chemical engineering. He is being held without bond. Absolutely crazy. So any more detail, he's a national-born U.S. citizen and found and a former USF student. Investigators believe he is the sole proprietor in the deaths of the 2 people. He lived with Nazir in an off-campus apartment approximately 1 mile from USF. He attended USF in 2001 to 2023 as an undergraduate student, pursuing a degree in management, but was not currently enrolled at the time of his arrest. His brother stated that Liam had previously filed a complaint against him, with the housing facility described his behavior as psychopathic and unpleasant. His mother also informed detectives that he had a history of struggling with anger and domestic violence. Oh. He was arrested after a domestic violence call at his family home, where he barricaded himself in there for about 20 minutes, and then finally surrendering peacefully, wearing only a blue towel. Prosecutors alleged that he used ChatGPT to search for information on how to dispose of a human body. Detectives noticed a cut on his left pinky at the time of his arrest. The woman's ID card and credit card were found in the bedroom, and significantly blood evidence were recovered from his apartment. Cell phone and vehicle data placed him at the location, including Howard Franklin's Bridge, and the Clearwater Beach during the time of the students were missing. During the interview, he initially claimed that the victims had never been in his car, but later changed the story when confronted with electronic evidence. Yes, he is guilty. Simple as that. He has a couple documented criminal histories. He has an arrest for battery and burglary of an unoccupied dwelling in 2023. Court records show 2 domestic violence petitions filed against him by family members in 2023, one of which resulted in a judge granting an injunction. And then he completed a diversion program for the first time misdemeanor offenders in 2024, which led to previous charges being discontinued. Wow. Absolutely crazy, y'all. But what do we think happened? My initial thinking, just from this, what we know of the situation so far, is that most likely he tried to attack the woman. And when he attacked the woman, his roommate found out. And of course, he couldn't let that happen. So he had to get rid of him as well. But that is just my guessing, my inference. What are your thoughts, y'all? What do you think happened in this situation? We'll have to wait for more criminal information to come out. But it's pretty open and shut, if you ask me. Just blood, ID, everything found inside of the apartment. He lied about them not being in the car. All they need to get is an admission, but pretty much they can get a conviction on that evidence alone. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.